Yeah, as Linda mentioned, the UNA selects a Global Citizen of the Year each year. We've done this for 2020. It was the 13th year we've had a Global Citizen of the Year. And the award, Global Citizen Award, honors some global work by either an individual or a group that works to improve the health, equality, environment, education, legal rights, living conditions of people around the world. And certainly, the Return Peace Corps Volunteers of Madison is really quite a good selection. They represent that those values quite well. The Return Peace Corps Volunteers and the Madison RPCV, I'll use RPCV, it's easier, Madison organization personify the global citizen. And in the words of the National Peace Corps organization, they say the Peace Corps is a service opportunity for motivated change makers to immerse themselves in a community abroad, working side by side with local leaders to tackle the most pressing challenges of our generation. Certainly, though I was not in the Peace Corps, as I mentioned earlier, certainly my experience with Peace Corps volunteers in Guatemala and the association here, that certainly accurately describes what Peace Corps volunteers do around the world. They generally serve 2 years, although I know Martin rather, served more than 2, and some people I know on the call serve more than 1 term as a Peace Corps volunteers. The Madison Return volunteers took their dedication to service 1 step further when they got home to the US. And they have raised money to invest in both local and international projects, which we'll hear more about tonight. So our speaker is Martin Havlovic, who's president of the local chapter of the Return Peace Corps Volunteers. Martin spent 3 years of the Peace Corps in Togo, 4 years as a USAID contractor in Togo, and I think he apparently spent time in some other countries, and I'll let him tell you all about that. In this country, he worked for the University of Wisconsin Extension as a county-based faculty in community and economic development. And he's done overseas consulting with USAID Farmer to Farmer program. So he comes to us with a wealth of experience in both international work and work within the state of Wisconsin. So I'm going to turn the program over to Martin and enjoy his presentation. And I think after Martin, after your presentation, you'll have time for Q&A, is that correct? Okay.
Yes.
Good. Okay, it's all yours.
Okay, I want to thank you on behalf of the Return Peace Corps Volunteers of Wisconsin-Madison for the Global Citizen Award 2020. I am just one of a large group of Return Peace Corps volunteers accepting this award. So on behalf of all of us, I want to thank you. If you're ready to turn the slideshow on, let's kind of get started. It's a PowerPoint. It's not fancy. It just shows a little bit of the things that we do as an organization. All right. This organization we're a nonprofit, 501(c)(3). We're affiliated with the National Peace Corps Association based out of Washington, D.C. And what we do is we champion a commitment to making a difference in communities here in the United States and as well as abroad. Next slide. Peace Corps mission. When you joined Peace Corps, had 3 goals. The first one was to help people in the country you were assigned to, that you were going to serve in. And that is by doing whatever teaching, construction, fisheries, whatever, to help them meet their need. The second one was to promote an understanding of Americans on part of the people served. And I remember during my training, one of the things the Togolese government wanted us to do is every morning to go outside our hut and brush our teeth. to show the natives or the local Togolese the importance of hygiene and brushing your teeth. I don't know why, but that sticks in my mind as one of those things in which we were encouraging a better understanding of Americans. And then the last or the third goal is to bring back our experiences, our knowledge, and our appreciation of different cultures and help Americans better understand foreigners, help understand cultures other than what we have here in America. And so we as Return Peace Corps volunteers, this third goal is pretty much our mission, what we do as the Return Peace Corps Volunteers of Wisconsin-Madison. We try to help people here in Wisconsin and throughout the state understand cultures, people from different parts of the world, right? I'm only been with this organization for about 10 years, so I'm not really a old, but if some of the others can help me out with some of this, be fine. We were incorporated back in 1982, and we have about 175 paid members, with about 50 of those that are somewhat active, assuming running, managing, operating different projects, activities, events, etc. We are open not only to Return Peace Corps volunteers, but to anyone who has an international interest. And we do have members who are not Peace Corps volunteers. So any of you, if you want to be a member of our organization, we'd be more than happy to have you on board. Next slide. Here are some of the activities and programs and things we do as an organization. Our biggest one is the international calendar, because that's the one that generates revenue for some of the other projects we do. The We All International posters, and I'll talk about these as we go. The Giftaway program, Freeze for Food, which is a 5 and 10K race to raise money. A Sendoff Brunch, we do Story Slam, and then also we help out and assist with the Peace Corps recruiting office based at the UW-Madison campus. All right, next slide. The international calendar. It was first back in 1988 that the organization started created a calendar. And it was unveiled at the 1987 National Conference of Peace Corps, Return Peace Corps Volunteers here in Madison. The calendar was our activity to generate funds, money that we then could use to carry out some of our activities. Approximately 50,000 is earned in profit annually by selling calendars and note cards. And these calendars are $15 a piece, or we have affiliate groups like Return Peace Corps Volunteers of Togo, Return Peace Corps Volunteers of Guatemala, and that can buy in bulk at a reduced rate. And that also allows them to generate some profit, some funds for their own specific programs for their individual organization. All right. Here, I think, can you see, here is our calendar 2021. James Hitchman here manages that program quite a bit. We still have calendars for sale if you're interested. See Jim, I will give you the website. We also then sell note cards. It can be used for anything, thank you notes, just little notes. And then we've started a perpetual calendar. And that calendar is one in which you can record birthdays or events, and then you just keep that for years and years. So these are our primary products that we as an organization do that raises us, that provides us with funds to do some of our other programs. All right. And here it is. If you go to this website, you can purchase a calendar. Okay, next. The We All International posters. This was a program where we wanted to show, illustrate basic food, water, housing, clothing, how things appear and how they are in different cultures and in different countries. And these posters then are distributed to schools so that the students can get a better appreciation of how people live, how they work, how they go to school in other parts of the world. So we have, there's 3 sets of these posters. First one talks about just basic living. Second one talks about social interactions. And the third one is about self-esteem and respect. And if you turn the next slide, we just give you kind of an example. This is the one that shows how people cook and different foods that they eat throughout the world. And next one, this is some of the school classrooms, how they learn and things like this, education. And then another poster is celebrations, festivals, things like this. These posters are 3 feet by 2 feet, and they're given to schools. Over 1,000 posters have been distributed. Next slide, I think. Yeah. And reached over 100,000 students. So this was one of our activities in meeting that 3rd goal of Peace Corps, which was to bring back, to show Americans how people live overseas or in different countries. Next, Giftaway. This is our program where we support projects, international focused projects with the money that we earned from our calendar sales. Our first Giftaway was in 1988, and approximately about 50,000 is generated each year. And then we give those out in grants with a maximum of $2,500 a grant. I was over 200. Is that right, James? 200,000 or so has been awarded. It should be more than that.
I thought I'd heard $1 million.
$1 million, yes.
That's what I've heard.
2 million, yeah, has been awarded in grants for activities. And if you look at the next slide.
It was over $1 million about a decade ago or more.
Yeah, I think the differentiator for that is that we also have been giving back to projects by currently serving Peace Corps volunteers,
yes,
where we favor volunteers. So the combination of the Giftaway program and a internal Peace Corps program that we give money to would be
yes,
the over $1 million.
Yeah.
Very impressive.
Yeah. And usually we do that twice a year. Here is the committee. All members can vote on the various proposals. And so here we're meeting in Madison discussing the grant proposals. Next slide. This year we did it by Zoom, and which worked out pretty good. And you can see here are the project proposals, the location of countries that they're in, and then how many years this same proposal has been funded. We have limits on that, and then the amount requested, and then the amount we decided to donate. And at this point, about 23,000 was donated during this round of Giftaway. And it's everything. What we try to do is provide funds for supplies, materials, things like that. And we kind of shy away from salaries, wages, things like that. We'd rather get more stuff that's physical and can reach and more citizens or students or people. So these are just gives you an idea of some of the things. Everything from buying incubators to beekeeping to bread to chicken coop to building chicken coops, things like that. Kind of projects that people for overseas that brings back revenue and also teaches some of the people to become a little more self-independent and provide money, income and that for their families. So we've been doing this for, since 1988. You have to be a member of RPCVs to submit or a grant or be the sponsor of a grant. All right, next. Freeze for Food. This is probably our oldest fundraiser, and this started back in 1982 as a fundraiser for Oxfam. In 1999, the Columbia Support Network was becoming the recipient of these funds. Been raising anywhere from 1,000 or 2,000 to 5,000, 6,000 a year with these with the Freeze for Food project. And then in 2017, we moved over to support the Open Doors for Refugees. And so they have been working with us on the Freeze for Food since then. I kind of checked to see what some are running. Back in 1994, we had 40 runners, and in 2016, 282. So kind of a nice event. It's held early in the year in March, April, when it's still cold outside and there's not a whole lot of marathon or 5, 10K races to compete with, hence the name Freeze for Food. I think one year it was like about 38 degrees below zero wind chill, but we had people that came out and ran. So. And over 100,000 has been raised in donations from this. And so this goes out to various, as of now, Open Doors for Refugees. So another exciting thing. And here's some of the racers. I think this was taken a couple years ago. Yeah. All right, next slide. A Sendoff Brunch. What we do here is we invite all those University of Wisconsin graduates, Madison graduates who have been accepted into Peace Corps. We have a spring Sendoff Brunch in May or April, May, and we invite them on campus at the faculty club. And we invite their parents as well, and we bring them together. So, and we talk a little bit about going overseas, what it's going to be like. They have a chance to speak with some of us returned Peace Corps volunteers, especially from the same country that they're going to. I know a lot of times their parents want to talk to us about, is it safe? You know, what am I daughter or son going to be doing, and things like this. So it's kind of a nice way to honor those graduates and to prepare them for their mission overseas. Interestingly, the University of Wisconsin-Madison is ranked #1 the last 4 years in number of Peace Corps volunteers that, or number of graduates that joined Peace Corps. And I believe in 2019, there was 79 graduates serving in Peace Corps. So we're #1 the last 4 years. And overall, since Peace Corps began, we're ranked #2 behind University of California, Berkeley, as to number of Peace Corps volunteers. I believe we have over 4,000 University of Wisconsin-Madison graduates that have been in Peace Corps, and there's over 6,000 Wisconsin residents that have been in Peace Corps. So Wisconsin is really a good recruiting ground for Peace Corps. And that has a lot maybe to say with the state and with its outward looking attitude. So happy about that, and hopefully we can still stay #1. So we'll have to see about that. Next slide. Yeah, and here's kind of meeting there and visiting with the parents and graduates who are the new soon-to-be Peace Corps volunteers. And then there's a photo of some of the Peace Corps volunteers to be. Okay. Next, Story Slam. And this is an opportunity for us, for volunteers to tell their story, something, we usually have a topic, and we have this during the National Peace Corps Week, which is the first week in May. And we invite people to tell a story based upon a topic, whether it's a topic of children or agriculture or something that happened, things like this. And we get about 10 returned Peace Corps volunteers who tell their story. And it's just a nice way of us coming together. Students from the university are invited to attend as well. And so they kind of can get a little chance of hearing some of our stories and get a sense of what Peace Corps is about, and kind of helps promote Peace Corps to potential University of Wisconsin students. All right, next. And here's some of the Story Slam pictures from various countries talking about their experiences, etc. We also do some lobbying, and I hope if you recognize her on the left, she was the University of Madison Chancellor, Donna Shalala, and more recently, a U.S. representative from Florida. Last in the spring of 2020, before this COVID and all that, I got the chance to go to Washington, D.C., to visit with our representatives and senators, and to talk about funding, Peace Corps, funding of international programs, and just getting support and that for international work. Another thing we do as a group is we have a holiday dinner at one of our returned Peace Corps volunteers, Tamara England. She graciously hosts it. It's a bring your own and or pass a plate, yes, a dish, and that's usually in December, and it's an opportunity for us to get together and to visit and network. We don't really do a whole lot of socialization, simply because I think all of us are so busy with things and all that. So this is one of the few opportunities we have where we can socialize. Next. We also attend a lot of events and activities in the Madison area where we can sell our calendars and cards and note cards and other items, and also interact with the public and talk a little bit about Peace Corps and promote Peace Corps to people. So this one here was, I think, at the Overture Center. It was an International Week or something. So we were there with our calendars and other information about Peace Corps, as well as about the Returned Peace Corps volunteers. Next slide. That's pretty much it. If you want to contact us, there's 3 ways you can do it. We do have a web page, or you can visit us on Facebook at RPCVs of Wisconsin at Madison. Or for those of you who still use a pen and paper, we do have a PO address there in Madison. All right. Kind of questions, and we have other people that can probably help out as well.
Judy. You're on mute. Hold on. For some reason, Judy. Where are you? I don't know if I need to unmute you or not.
You may need to her volume.
I can't find her on the list. Maybe. Oh, there we are. She's not muted. Judy, turn your volume up. Well, that's unfortunate because she doesn't show as being muted on my screen here.
Can she write it on a postcard? Can you write it on?
Are you
Let's-
trying to get to Judy Reed?
Judy
No.
Minor.
Mine.
Oh, okay.
So maybe somebody else have a question or a comment?
You can write it in chat in the chat section.
Oh
Right.
yeah, Judy, write a chat. Chat.
I don't think the chat is open to people. I only
Oh,
have the ability to send a chat directly to you, Todd.
Yeah, right now, it appears that the questions go to you, Todd. I just sent
does
one.
anybody know how
I'll
to turn?
send it to Todd.
Does anybody know how to turn the private thing off?
No,
Well, she can just send it to you.
I could figure it
Ah.
out if you want to make me a co-host, but I can't find it on my screen.
Yeah.
While we're waiting for that, let me share with you my Peace Corps experience. So I was a Peace Corps volunteer. I taught agriculture in the schools. And my project was 5 schools. I had a motorcycle and I was to teach horticulture, what we call school gardening, in 5 junior high schools. And so I would go around and we had seed. So we would create a garden, plant seed, and then we would, some of the vegetables we harvested, the students would take home and we would show them how to cook them. And the other half of the vegetables we would sell in the local markets to raise money. And then the children would buy, or the money we raised, we used to buy library books or sporting equipment or other kind of school supplies. So I did that for 3 years. And one little story I want to tell you is one weekend, this school principal director comes to me and he says, Marty, we got a problem here, or Mr. Martin, we got a problem here with insects. They're eating up our vegetables. And I go like, oh God. So I go out to the garden with him to inspect it. And all these carrots are just wilted, turned over. So I pull a carrot out of the ground and I could see teeth marks. So what the kids were doing is they were volunteering to water the garden on the weekends. They'd go and they'd pull up the carrots and that, and they'd eat them, and they'd stick the plant back in the ground. So I told the director, I says, you don't have a problem with insects, you got a problem with kids. They're eating the vegetables. So he said, yeah. So then the next Monday we were in school and I called the kids together. I said, look, I said, it's nice that you're growing vegetables and eating them. That's the whole thing. I said, but I think the school director wants to use some of these money for other projects or things. So anyway, we sat down, we had a vote, and the kids decided half the vegetables we raised, we're going to share among ourselves, and then the other half we're going to sell in the local market for money. But anyway, so, things worked out. Yes.
Judy sent me a chat. She says, I just wanted to mention another great resource this group, excuse me, has provided for the world, an archive of oral histories of returned Peace Corps volunteers.
Yes.
And the website is www.peacecorpsoralhistories.org/cpages. I'm sure you can find it on the internet.
Yes.
And Phyllis Noble started that. And Madeline Uranak, who's on the call tonight, has been interviewed.
Yeah. We also are, many of us have brought back artifacts or souvenirs other things from each of our countries. And we're looking now at creating a system with the Wisconsin State Historical Society, whatever, where all these different artifacts, things, cloth or paintings or furniture or sculptures or things like that, that we could give, and then those could be checked out of various schools to use in class teachings and all that. So we're kind of working on creating that base or database of boxes of different culture or artifacts. And that's another thing.
Linda Ballman asked a question. What is the future of the Peace Corps and how well is it supported by the U.S. government?
Well, currently there are 3 former Peace Corps volunteers. Now that Donna Shalala lost her election, it's only 3 Peace Corps volunteers that are in the House of Representatives. But Peace Corps is pretty well supported on the federal level. The problem, though, is with the coronavirus, how do you assure safety? How do you assure health? But Peace Corps is going back into countries. In fact, January, February, they will be going into 3 countries in the Caribbean. A friend of mine is in Ghana, in Accra. She is the Peace Corps director there. Ghana will be opening up shortly. So they're going to be going back into the countries as the health situation lessens or becomes better. But of course, there always is that question of health, and especially parents of student or young people going overseas. They have named an interim new Peace Corps director, or he's going to rename one. She was a former Peace Corps director in Malawi. And I think she's going to be like an acting Peace Corps director until they name an actual real one. The former or current Peace Corps director, Jody Olson, went to school here in Madison, or lived here. She's been to Madison a couple of times as a Peace Corps director. She's a good friend of returned Peace Corps volunteers of Wisconsin-Madison. So we do have some relationship there.
Say, Kate Schachter is the recruiter at the UW-Madison.
Yes.
You want to say anything, Kate, about how the recruitment's going and the attitude of, are there more students interested? What effect COVID has had on recruitment?
It's had a huge impact on recruitment. It's really difficult right now to recruit when it's anywhere from 6 to 12 months before they even open up the countries.
Mm-hmm.
And what I'm doing is encouraging people to apply, because a Peace Corps is pre-screening and going through processes, making sure all the paperwork is in place. They'll have first dibs at the interviews once they start taking interviews. But things are actually shutting down a little bit. They are not going into the Eastern Caribbean in January as expected.
No.
And it's because of the health situation and the spread of COVID and trying to get vaccinations in place. It's just a really difficult time. People are still interested, but they don't know what that means when they're graduating in May, and they won't even know if they'll even be interviewed until the end of the year. So it makes it a real challenge.
Mm-hmm. But I think there's a resiliency of some of those Peace Corps volunteers that were evacuated. A few of them are still maintaining relationship with their countries, with their schools, or with their villages through Zoom. And so you see that a bit. We as an organization also helped assist those evacuated Peace Corps volunteers that returned to Wisconsin. We gave them kind of a adjustment allowance to help them get back on their feet, pay some rent or some if they needed medical or things like that. So that was our way of kind of helping them out to make sure that they could get back on their feet once they got back to the States.
Are there any other questions or any former Peace Corps volunteers that want to say something about their experience? Madeline?
Madeline.
Yes, I think that Marty said this last meeting, and Kate also, but just speaking as an ordinary RPCV, we're just so honored by this award. And I think it is difficult to think of any other organization in Madison that we is more of a sister cousin organization. I just so long admired your programs and your focus. And as Marty went through all of these different programs, you can kind of see that they all have a corollary at the United Nations, like UNICEF and UNESCO and World Food Program, that there's a modeling of the Peace Corps in its endeavors on the kind of huge outreach that the United Nations has. And I just wanted to say how much I recognize some of the people here, and I know that you've done so much international travel and you're interested in it, and you're really dedicated to peace and to solutions of the problems. And so many of you have actually worked abroad like Peace Corps volunteers. So even though you might not have been Peace Corps volunteer, I just feel like our organizations have so much in common, and we do run into one another in these organizations, the other organizations in Madison that we're interested in a lot. So I just, on behalf of all of us, again, just thanks so much.
Yep.
Thanks, Madeline. We've enjoyed the ongoing collaboration between our two organizations and look forward to it continuing in the future. Other comments, questions? Somebody, let's see, there's a question from Lynn Green. What about going back to Liberia? Anybody know anything about that?
I was in Liberia about 5 years ago on a 1 month with Farmer to Farmer, and it was an interesting country, but I don't know if Peace Corps is back there yet too. A lot is going to depend upon the health situation.
Liberia was one of the active countries when everyone was evacuated. So it's just a question of when it's ready for, and it's COVID free, and we're COVID free. It's in the same that basket that all the other countries are in. I will say that every country that volunteers were evacuated from wants them back. They're not saying, never mind, we're done with Peace Corps. They're all saying, we want you back.
Yeah,
that's encouraging.
Yeah,
I traveled twice to Liberia in the last 5 years for the Liberian Assistance Program out of Madison with Judy Reed and a couple members that are here tonight too. But the challenges there, when I took our whole family back 4 years ago, is more severe than it was 50 years ago. I mean, it's the poverty, the children running over piles of garbage and stuff. You never saw that 50 years ago. The hospital my wife worked at was fully functional 50 years ago. It's a shell with no amenities at all. So our heart bleeds for them. Hopefully things will change as fast as they can.
Is that due to the Civil War then?
A lot of it was, but not all of it. They have systemic corruption issues that unfamiliar with everybody here, I'm sure. But it's hard to say. The infrastructure, and then Ebola was almost as devastating as the war for a shorter period of time, because the war spread over 14, 15 years, but the Ebola was intense while it was going on, and all the professionals left. They lost their whole infrastructure for a while. Those are the challenges they face, is to rebuild the professional working class, etc. And the schools obviously are the starting point to do that. So
I would like to ask if anybody has done any work with the Democratic Republic of the Congo. They have so much civil war going on there. And I was just curious if Peace Corps members have been doing any work there.
Only as returned volunteers, in other
Yeah.
words, post service. But of course, and the UNA had Russ Feingold speaking a couple of years ago.
Right.
He would be the expert on that.
Right. Okay. Yeah, he gave a very good speech about
An
conflict.
excellent speech.
Yeah.
I saw a hand up, but I don't remember who. There, okay, Michael, yeah.
Yes, I would like to thank the Peace Corps recruiter at the University of Wisconsin, there was a group of returned Peace Corps volunteers that recruited me in about April of 1968. And that's how I got into the Peace Corps. And is the reason I joined your group again. I was graduating from the university. And of course, I got my draft notice. And I went to Milwaukee for my physical. And I tried to do my best to not hear anything. But the sergeant doctor told me that I passed and I'd be going to the front line. And because I'm colorblind and I see movement rather than colors. So on the way back of the Badger bus to Madison, I was reading the newspaper, the university newspaper, and I noticed that the Peace Corps was recruiting that day in Madison. So I just got off the bus and went over to the recruiting office, and they helped me get in. That was a big factor in what happened to my life, really. And I went to Peru, and there's a lot of story there, but I won't go on. And thank you very much.
Peace Corps changes your life. Doesn't matter when you join. If you're right out of college, if you're young, when I was in my 50s, it changed my life. It really does.
It does change your life. And it's almost as if I had two lives. The life I lived in Antigo, Wisconsin, up to 18 years, and the life I lived at the university, completely different from the life I learned in the Peace Corps working in Ite, Peru. And I'm still attached to Peru. My wife is Peruvian, of course. That helps. Thank you.
Thanks for the testimonials. Yeah.
There is a program, Farmer to Farmer, and it's an opportunity for us older or returned Peace Corps volunteers to go back overseas. And it's agricultural based, not only technology, but also the soft skills such as economics, business planning, strategic planning, cooperatives, things like that. I've been doing a lot of work with the Farmer to Farmer program. They pay all your expenses and everything. They've sent me to Mozambique, Tanzania, South Sudan, Morocco, Nicaragua, all over. It's a 2-week commitment. And it's really, and I'm trying, we're getting a few of our returned Peace Corps volunteer members into the program as well. But now it's mostly Zoom because of the COVID and transportation issues. But once it gets ramped up again, there's an opportunity for, if you can speak Spanish or had overseas experience, they love that. They prefer that because you're less of a risk than for them to send some university faculty person there. Plus you have what I call extension outreach skills, working with the local people and all that, so you can do much better job of training and assisting. So that's something that any and all of you should look at as if you still want to do some overseas work. Age is no big issue either on that, nor is gender. So as long as you have the skills that these host countries are looking for, it's a good opportunity. Yep.
I just feel compelled, given the discussion that's going on here, to just mention and acknowledge Judy Reed, who I think is on this call, but given the long-term impact that the Peace Corps experience has on people, she has come back and founded the Liberian Assistance Program, LAP, which is continuing to just do amazing things, I think, to promote education in Liberia. And, you know, it's just a real tribute to the impact that the Peace Corps has on people long-term, and what some returning Peace Corps volunteers have done to continue the work they started as Peace Corps members. So just, you know, a shout out to all of you who are doing that, but especially to Judy Reed and the LAP program.
Yep.
I just want to tell everybody, the Liberian Assistance Program was the winner of the Global Citizen of the Year Award 2 years ago. I think I'm correct about that.
Yeah,
And
yeah, I was going to say, we have been very appreciative of the Return Peace Corps volunteers of Wisconsin, because we have gotten the Giftaway gifts for a number of years, maybe 10 years. And so it's really made a difference. I mean, they provided the money for our well at our school, for textbooks, just starting a school reading program, all sorts of things. And so we're very appreciative of the Return Peace Corps volunteers.
You will find there are a lot of Return Peace Corps volunteers who have a pet project or are doing something back in their country or wherever. So, you know, I know several that are doing anything from agriculture to wells, water, etc.
Well, your thing, Marty, in doing the bees is amazing. Yeah. We sort of wanted to emulate it, but we haven't done it yet.
Well, let's talk.
Yeah, I know it's very difficult.
Actually, just as a side, I brought 3 Nicaraguan beekeepers up there in Florida at this moment. They'll be there until May, and then they will go up to Wisconsin by Fond du Lac to work for a beekeeper with 6,000 hives. This is through the Foreign Agriculture Worker Program. They got a H-2A visa. You know, they're paying Social Security, they're paying all this. It's a program through the Department of Labor. So, but it's an opportunity for Nicaraguans to come up and learn more about beekeeping and, more important, make money. So, yeah. The other thing too is, I don't know if you know, but Wisconsin is partnered with Nicaragua under Partners of the Americas. That's the program John F. Kennedy found back in 1962. So the Wisconsin Nicaragua Partners used to be based in Madison on campus. They are now at UW Stevens Point on campus, but they do a lot of work in Nicaragua as well, mostly health and youth and women. So that's another group of people that are doing international development work. Each state has a country in the West Caribbean or Latin or Central and South America.
Are there any other questions or comments?
Yeah, I had a quick one. I know there's a number of countries where the Peace Corps did have programs, but they no longer do. What are the reasons that would cause the Peace Corps to withdraw from a country? Is it once they've achieved a certain level of self-sufficiency, or can there be other reasons too?
Kate, do you want to take that, or?
Sure. I'm sorry. One more time on the question.
I was asking why some countries that used to have Peace Corps programs no longer do. I think a lot of Latin American countries may fall into that category. What are the criteria in deciding when a program is no longer needed in a country?
Yeah, I don't have a lot of information. I'm, as a strategic recruiter, I'm not a Peace Corps employee. I'm a UW-Madison employee. So I don't know a lot of that inside decision making. But there are two people here who can talk a little bit about China, Ben Deese and where's our other China volunteer who is also here, can talk a lot about what happened in China. But you're right, it very much happened in Latin America. But in many cases, the other countries are no longer needing our support. We were in Russia for many years. They finally said, no, we don't need Peace Corps anymore. Well, but all the subtle reasons were, I'm not going to try to go in. I can't try to guess.
Okay. I was going to say, my brother-in-law was a Peace Corps volunteer in South Korea, and they certainly don't have Peace Corps anymore, mainly because they're so advanced now. They don't really need them.
Right.
So there, and of course, there's some countries that the Peace Corps, I think, feels are not safe enough to send volunteers to, and will pull out for those reasons.
And there is politics as well. And, Ben can address some of that maybe.
Yeah, I mean, I served in China from 2016 to 2018. And at that time, I was there when the Trump administration, came into power and things kind of got into hot water politically. And so early last year, they decided to close the program. It kind of got pushed aside because a few weeks later, all Peace Corps volunteers were removed from the field because of COVID. But the China program was closed on the American side, not on the Chinese side.
Yep. Yep. So, it depends. Usually it's the host country that says, we don't need that support anymore. Or it could be politics, or or Peace Corps decides that it's too dangerous if there's civil war or something that going on. Yes. Or as in some other cases, U.S. senators and all that may push to remove Peace Corps from certain countries because of politics.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I want to thank Marty and the whole Return Peace Corps volunteer group for the good work, and quite deserving of the Global Citizen of the Year Award, and for the presentation tonight. It's been very informative, and we'll look forward to continue working together.
Yep.
Thank you very much.
Yes.
It was a good presentation and discussion. Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you for doing this.
Good night, everybody.
Thanks, all.
Good night.
Thank you. It's very good.
Bye.
Good night.